Entendi.
Okay, so we start admitting people.
Yeah. You can start at 7 and 5, I think.
That's a good idea. All right, thanks for joining everybody. Welcome to this special SNEV session about EV societies in the world. Today our guest speaker is Ana Claudia Torrecilha from the Federal University of Sao Paulo. There she is an associate professor who has been working in the EV field for more than 20 years, mainly on studies of infectious agents and host-parasite interactions. She has a strong background in immunology, parasitology, with specific expertise in host-parasite interactions. She's now leading a lab focused on the biology of Trypanosoma cruzi, the agent that causes Chagas disease. And on top of her research, she's also a member at large and now even the ISEF board director in the chair of communication. And she is the director of the Latin American EV Network Group. So today she will tell us everything about new developments in Latin America regarding EVs. So Ana Claudia, please go ahead, the floor is yours.
I would like to thank the invitation for the Students Network EVs. It's a pleasure to talk to and support the young investigators in the EV field. And I share my presentation here. Can you see?
Yep, so good.
Okay, it's okay. My name is Ana Torrecilha from Brazil, and we organize with my colleagues the Latin America extracellular vesicles network. And I explain today why we start the Latin America EVs groups. It's not as we planned in the past to organize the Brazilian Society for Extracellular Vesicles, but Latin America is very big. And the reason we have the national societies around the world, and it's very important because for each place, for the North America, Latin America, Europe, Asia, and the Asia Pacific, you have a lot of national societies. But in Latin America, we have the Latin America Network Group, because Claudia Torrecilha, she organized the Global EV Network. It's very important because the ICEV, the International Society for Extracellular Vesicles, is very important to support the national societies. We have this excellent relationship in the ICEV support, like promote this national society in the ICEV website, promote some meetings in Latin America or another place around the world, because ICEV, one of the missions is the global society. And why a reason to is very important to support in Latin America? As you can see here, is the number of the graduate PhD students in million inhabitants in the Latin America. As you can see, it's grow a lot after 2015. And this in another graphics is the number of publication, the scopus is increase a lot of publications around the world, is very important. And in the next slide, oops, I don't know what happened. What happened? I couldn't, sorry. And here's the number, the article to publish it is not in the Spanish, but in English, the official language. As you can see here, is increase the number of publication another many countries in Latin America. And the reason is very important to support this Latin America, because you have a lot of groups to work in the many fields, but in 20 years now ago, and now we have a lot of groups to work with this in Latin America. This is another point to very important to support this, and one the reason our group to start this group of the extracellular vesicles, the international collaboration scientific publication in Latin America, just in the 2016, but you grow more. We have a lot of publication in Colombia, Chile, Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil. And the next slide, you have a correlation in Brazil, the number of the graduate programs in the federal university, state university, and private university in Brazil. And it grow a lot. For example, I live in the state of São Paulo in Brazil. You have the big agents of science to support young investigators. You have the senior scientists. Our budget for our state is more than Spain and Netherlands. And you have a lot of money to support just in state of São Paulo, and maybe come people from São Paulo to work with the many fields. This reason in Latin America is grow a lot of increase the number of PhD students, increase the number of the scientists to application the position at universities, and increase the number of the budget and the number of the publication. And this global society, the national society we start is Latin America Extracellular Vesicles Network in Latin America and the Central America too, because we have one collaborating in the Costa Rica. Our board director is Dr. Lisângela Alves. He's from the south of Brazil. He is an institute in the research, the Federal Institute in Curitiba, in the south of Brazil. Me is a coordinated this group. Dr. Patrícia Xande, she's associate professor in the same university I work. And the Wagner Najib is the person to design, improve this our website now. Is this group work together to promote the Latin America, the relationship for another Latin national EVs network and societies, and improve this relationship for another labs in Brazil and another places. Our mission, as you can see here, in Latin America, a lot of groups move to work in the EVs field because cancer, parasites, infectious disease in general, like COVID-2 virus, stem cells, therapies, a lot of group in Brazil start to work to extracellular vesicles. As you can see here, increase a lot the number of articles to publish in just EVs field. And a proposal to Latin America's promote discussion of many PIs, many groups, and exchange protocols, reagents to support, because some labs don't have money in the northeast of Brazil, don't have a lot of budget to support, promote events, meetings, workshops with the research students. In Latin America, start in 2017, because it's the first society related to the extracellular vesicles in Latin America. But the name, we start the Brazilian Society for Extracellular Vesicles. As you can see here, Latin America is a big place. Latin America has 600 million people live there. This is we have more than 90 countries around the Latin America, and you have a lot of people and you have a lot of students, EPIs, and improve this EVs field. We very excited to start to propose the Latin America EV groups. And our mission is education, communication, discussion science, stimulation to the direct contact to the senior research and students, graduate and undergraduate students. We established when I organized with Ken Whittewer is a workshop in Brazil in 1916. Is the cross-organism communication by extracellular vesicle, host and microbes and parasite. And when you wrap up these events, the people are stimulated to start, why not, the Brazilian Society for Extracellular Vesicles. I like it so much, this idea, with my colleagues, Dr. Patrícia Xande, all started to meet this, just the initial of this proposal. And now we have more 300 people to enjoy this Latin extracellular Latin network. We have more than 8 research groups in Latin America. The website, we have 53 groups in Latin America, but we improve each time to complete this research group to exchange education, communication, and science. And the geographic position is Central America. We have one group in the Costa Rica, and maybe one day in the Mexico or Panama and the other countries in Central America, and the South America. And the senior research is focused to spread this information and students. For our mission is organize or co-organize meeting, the workshop. We start the next month, or the initial is November, the Latin EV clubs. We organize the summer and winter school in EVs, and I'd like to, in my board, to potential development of the mentorship programs here in Brazil, and with the focus to support young investigators, because it's so hard to start the new lab, and is how to work in EVs is our proposal to the rigor and the standardization. They help to young investigators, and support to exchange materials, protocols, student visit to different lab and equipments. Our proposal is the network. And our groups is a composition is we have the groups to work this urine EVs, reproduction in the EVs field, is EVs pregnancy complication, then brain communication. EVs, the other disease is not infection condition, but the most groups to work in the Latin EVs is the EVs in host infection agents with virus, parasite, fungi, and bacteria. And we have a lot of groups to work in disease and cancer, inflammation, and neurological disease. We have disease in diagnostic tools, and disease in therapeutic application. Many groups in the state of Rio de Janeiro in development, a lot of therapies in this São Paulo and the south of Brazil too. We have these T cells in development and the mental disorders. Is concentration in our group in the Latin America, the many PIs, the many groups to exchange our experience and organize the meetings and discussions in the infections, diseases, and the cancer, inflammation, and neurological diseases. How we start? During the ICEV workshop in Brazil, but this is the workshop to organize here in São Paulo, is more than seven years. And the ICEV board, me, Ken, Marca, Jansson Gu, and Andrew Real, and in this time is the president of the ICEV. And the local board is Rodrigo Soares, Patricia, she continues to work with me in Latin America, my ex-supervisor, my first postdoc, Maria Julia Manso Alves, and Dr. Walter Colli. And this is just for this welcome to people, and you have some support to the sponsors and organize. Is we have a lot to do this, but it's very important because this is a picture for this education day, because you have a lot of applications, but the focus in the workshops when I start in ICEV just for PIs to discussion many fields in the ICEV or specific fields in the workshop, but you open, you have more than 100 students, and the education day, the workshop is the mechanism involved the EVs mediate communication between host and pathogens. As you can see, marker to start this education day. And this my student support for all time, because you don't have a lot of budget to pay people, but it's very, the sponsors support many staffs. And here is the group of PIs, Ken, I, Marca, Weber, and my group in Brazil, and Dr. Patricia Schander. When I finished the meeting, the people suggest why not start to Brazilian Society for Extracellular Vesicles. Patricia and I like so much this idea, but it's difficult, it's a lot of money. My budget, my research budget, or Dr. Patricia don't have a permission to use to open the society, but we try. Okay, and when I finish these discussions, our group started to write the meeting report about the São Paulo ICEV workshop, and we will publish in journal Extracellular Vesicles. And in the next year, in 2018, we organized the first Brazilian Society Extracellular Vesicles, the summer school, about the discussions how the best practicals to isolate EVs. But it is difficult to maintain the Brazilian society because you need to pay tax here in Brazil. It's very expensive, but we start here. Here is a group to a lot of PI students, and you organize the first meeting, the summer school. And now is pandemic, and we decide with the board director, me, Dr. Lisangela Alves, I invite her because he lives in the geographic different place in Brazil. Is good because you spread more information. Dr. Patricia and Wagner Najib, we decided to exchange the name. Is a Latin America Extracellular Vesicles Network because you have a lot of colleagues from Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Bolivia, Peru, Suriname, Venezuela. We have a lot of colleagues to work in EVs and science. And after pandemic, we organized the small talk, and John Tykes talk about the EVs and flow cytometry. And you organize the second events in São Paulo about the EVs and research use the flow cytometry. It's a pleasure because we start to our second meeting about EVs. It's very important, and John, he is very excited to participate in this and come to Brazil to visit my university, and then we organize this second meeting in this Latin EVs, because don't forget it's Brazilian, but we exchange the name. And here's the many colleagues, my students to help organize, and my colleagues here, and the people listen, and we start this meeting. For this year, we organized the second summer school in EVs in our university. We have a lot of PIs and students here, and you move to organize the course of EVs during the Federation of All Basic Society, the Biological Experimental Society. More than 20 Brazilian basic science societies is the federation together this last July, and the Latin America EVs organized the course. And you have a lot of students, you have a lot of people to focus in EVs in this meeting in Búzios. Is a beautiful place in Rio de Janeiro state. And a pleasure because now we have the proposal to organize the second meeting in Rio de Janeiro next March. And maybe we organize the winter school in the July, because it's the opposite in the north and the south, the winter in July here. And here is the people from Beckman Counter to talk about the rigor and the standardization to use the Cytoplex platform in quantify and characterization EVs during the meeting. And now I would like to show our homepage, Latin EVs. If you go there, you found the Latin America EVs Collaboration Network. You have the Google Forms, and we have many groups there, and you improve and you update the end of this October for all groups. You have 18 groups to send for us. We write in English because the language around the world, but not put just in Portuguese, because every place around the world you can see our proposal to exchange. And this, we have a lot of friends in Portugal to interest to start the collaboration to organize the meetings together. And here is the Google Forms for the groups. And here's we have the on Facebook, the social media, we have the Latin America Extracellular Vesicles Networks. As you can see here, when I received the invitation, I'm so excited and I'm so happy to talk about our proposal to continue to work in the national societies in Latin America. And I contact the group for extracellular vesicles in Argentina. And 10 years ago, the group started the first meeting, the group, the Argentina in extracellular vesicles. And it may be organized the next year is a workshop or a small meeting events in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. And I'm pleasure to spread this good information and exchange experience with my colleagues in Latin America, because we are very strong, you're resistant for all, and I'm very proud for Latin America people. Ours proposed to collaboration network in Latin America. We would like to organize meetings, schools, and workshops. And you have FAPESP and the federal agency to support some grants to young investigators. And maybe January in Buenos Aires and March in a meeting in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And you like to thank you. If you have any doubt or any suggestion, or would like to enjoy with us, please contact me in my email. And I would like to invite to next SNEV meeting 2014 in Melbourne, in Australia. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ana Claudia, for the nice talk and for present the Latin American society in EVs. Because, yeah, we have many groups in Latin America, but separated, and sometimes the collaboration is complicated because we don't know the other groups in our neighbors' countries. I am from Chile, and I know a little about Matthias Ostrowski because was friends of my advisors in my PhD, also was my external advisor of my PhD. And yeah, I think it is so important for Latin America because not all countries have money to investigate in EVs. That is expensive sometimes. And I think to increase the research in EVs is necessary the collaboration in Latin America more than in other countries, and try to connect more the research in Latin America.
Yes, and the reason you have the group from Argentina to enjoy Latin American network EVs. Matthias, you have the contact to him and maybe organize the meeting together. And this Latin America, we don't receive any money. You don't pay. It's for free for students, graduate, undergraduate, and the PIs. When the reason we need to support the rigor standardization and help and support some groups is our proposal. It's not any money to registration for the meetings or some school or the small events like the Don Tigers come to here to visit my lab, and I organize this small meeting, small talk.
That is it's a great opportunity to the students, of course, and all researchers. Yes, that is a great. I think it's the way of the science in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, the plans for spread more the Latin American EVs, because, for example, in Chile, not many people know about this. How is the plan for the future?
Our plan to contact some groups in the Chile. You have more 3 or 4 groups to contact. I send a message now. In the end of November, I have the Pan American Physiology meeting in Chile, and I promote more. I travel in Latin America a lot, and I try to promote. I contact Matthias, I talk to him, I have a meeting to him next Monday about this exchange experience for a group to Argentina, and I'm responsible with Clotilde Terri Clotilde give for me the South America I'm responsible in ICEV to organize the groups, and maybe is the reason the ICEV support this. It's very important because I contact in Colombia, contact in Bolivia, contact in Venezuela, because it's very big place. It's a lot of people to live here, but we try. We start the 10 groups in Brazil. Now you have, if you look at the Latin EVs, you have in Argentina groups, enjoy the homepage with us, Chile together, and you need to spread, but you need to send more message, improve the website and social media. And this is our focus to spread this Latin America EVs network.
Yeah.
Spread this information, no?
Yeah, sure. Tom, do you have a question or comments?
Yeah, maybe it's interesting to what are the challenges you experience while doing research in Latin America? I also did my internship in Chile, and for example, it was really difficult to get reagents sometimes to take up more than months. Are those things that you experience as well in Brazil, and how do you cope with that as a group leader?
Yes, but it's very difficult. But I don't know if I live like the Iceland here in São Paulo, because don't have any problem to budget to science here, because the 4% of our tax go to the science in state of São Paulo. Is the economic center in Latin America to movement the economy. In Brazil and the rest of Latin America, we have a lot of exchange these economy products here from technology from state of São Paulo. But the rest of Brazil is very difficult, or the part of in Latin America. And our proposal to exchange support. And if I have one colleague, I have, for example, one antibody to detect some tetaspanin, why not to send for my colleague? And they start not a collaboration to add my name in the manuscript. No, just for support. These are reasons. Some people don't have ultracentrifusion, could use. And my lab has, my colleague has one. Why not to put and exchange when the reason to add the name of the lab and the person to contact, and they start the collaboration. Our network is this, no? And maybe is some place to organize. I propose to Matias from Argentina, why not organize the workshop, the group of Argentina and Latin America, to spread this information. This is our focus, our mission.
And the plan for the future is have a representative for each country in the board of the...
Of course. And when I organize 1 more or 2 years, I move for another president. I don't have a lot of time to organize all, but I don't stay just in Brazil, the meetings, no? Organize and spread for another country, another cities, is not just for in São Paulo, no?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's for me. I know if some of the participants have another question of Tom or comments. Was a very nice talk. Who I for me was so impressed how many groups are in Latin America working in EVs.
Yes.
So
impressive. You can imagine, I went the July in this federation for the 20 basic biology experimental groups in the societies. Immunology, parasitology, cell biology, societies, all 20. You can imagine a lot of people working in EVs. I'm so glad. When I started to work to EVs 20 years ago, the people don't believe the parasite release EVs. And now I saw this and I'm so glad, I'm so excited. And my proposal, because I'm so excited to work in this EVs field, is more people to work. EVs is the function, is the communication. Our network is communication and spread the good rigor standardization and support our colleagues.
Yeah, sure. So thanks so much, Tom. The last words, I don't know.
No, this is a good way to wrap it up, I think. It looks like the start of something nice, and I'm really looking forward to see what comes out of these collaborations.
Yes, of course. You can send us the link of
the Latin EV?
Yes, please, to split it in our social media. Because
Latin EVs. Okay.
Oh, cool. So yeah. So thanks so much, Ana Claudia, to attend to our meeting. In the future, we have more to another tiny societies. The next is Egypt society in Ibis. It's recently
so
formed. Malaysia, I think, is the next, another one. And yeah, we are in contact for future meetings, and of course, you can
But
connect.
when I organize the meeting in Argentina, or I contact you and Ton and Sarah, maybe we start to come to visit and organize the student network visit in Latin America too. Okay?
Yeah, sure, of course. Thanks so much,
Welcome.
Ana Claudia.
Welcome.
Have a nice day.
And thank
Bye.
you for the invitation. Okay?
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks so much.